Forgive me.
This is Indika. We're here on the PlayStation 5 Pro. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So this is a really genuinely great and interesting game. So this is something I played, I think about a year ago on the Xbox when it first released. I even interviewed the lead actors here about this game as well, which is a great watch if you're, kind of curious about it after you've played it. This game is genuinely fascinating and a great look at faith and religion and basically what you go to, the lengths you go to in regards to keeping up your faith and how that impacts the world around you. So the game has a very, very slow opening, like you're going to be seeing here. Like, it is genuinely a bit cumbersome to kind of get through, but it makes a lot of sense when you play the game later on, and it kind of reinforces certain elements of it. So you play in this third person. It's a story-driven game. Everything kind of goes. It's got some really intense stuff. It's got maturity, and I think there's also some nudity, if I'm remembering correctly. But anyways, yeah, you are this young girl, and you have a friend, or, well, I wouldn't call it a friend, but you have this voice. The devil is your companion. And, I wonder if we could skip this part, because we did this. I don't know if you need to do this part. Maybe you do. Yeah, I know, maybe you do have to go through here. Anyways, so you're a young woman, or young girl. Woman? She's almost a woman. Anyways, you're stuck in this place, and, it's a chapel, everything like that, because something happened, and you kind of get background story of that.
Maybe I can help.
Over the course
Right now.
of the story. And it's really, really quite intriguing. So life sucks here. It's rough. The nuns, they treat her very, very poorly. They're not very kind to her, and she's a bit of an outcast even here amongst the nuns and whatnot. And it's really interesting just how intensely the situation is for her. And it's interesting to explore that. And basically, the main aspect of the game is once you actually get out and about, and you get to enjoy the further world of Indika. Can I, move this? Can't remember if I can, move this and cause a problem for this lady.
Hey, where are you going? Hey, stop.
I'm sorry. I don't really know how to... Forgive me.
Anyways, so you seem like a regular nun that's trying to adjust to the monotonous monastery life. Humble and innocent, although there might be something a little bit deeper beneath the surface, which of course is the devil, who's like a voice in your head. And you kind of go through these adventures, and this game's really interesting because it's like, yeah, it's a third-person adventure like this, where you're walking, you're moving through things, solving puzzles. But there's also these mini-games sprinkled throughout the game that add context and background and interesting stories. It's a very fascinating sort of thing, and they're very simple mini-games. They're not meant to be hard, but what the point of it is they're delivering narrative through a different, medium within this medium. So you get, sort of retro arcade-like things that go through, and it might seem just bizarre, and it might make no sense. And the point system doesn't really matter, because none of it makes really sense if you think about it, or cares, or matters.
Do you have something prepared for Smag?
But it's so fascinating because you get to slowly learn, if you pay attention, what actually happened to her, and that really reinforces the story in an interesting way. So from a technical standpoint, it's a 4K resolution, it's 60 FPS. It runs relatively well. It's a pretty simple game.
Loved Indika.
Did they?
Christian love is known to be patient.
And of course, a very sarcastic,
However,
witty devil.
lowly humans.
But what's so interesting about the game, though, is that as you get the story delivered to you across this interesting adventure, and some stuff, it's really neat too, because the game plays with the sizing of things. Like, you get to go to a greater than life sort of sardine factory, and none of it's too challenging. Like, this is something anyone could play, I would think, because a lot of it's moving or, getting over things. But it's just such an interesting commentary on religion and the themes of religion, especially as far as someone struggling in this, you know, part of the world. And it's quite intriguing to see, you know, Indika struggle with this and deal with it, because she wants to keep her faith. You know, she believes in the faith. She believes in what it is, and it's an interesting struggle to see herself as she's tortured with these situations, and how she's kind of broken to a degree on the inside as well, because she really did... Things were very different for her, and, you know, things happened, and bad stuff happened, and it just kept getting worse, and she kept wanting to believe that there was something more to it. I'm trying to like go around it without spoiling it too, if that makes sense, because I think it is such a wonderful game to sort of experience and play, because it's so weird. It is so bizarrely weird. Like, at its focus, as I said, it is 100% on, you know, the themes of religion, the emotions of it, what it means to believe in things and have that faith sort of challenged in a mature sort of format and way. It just kind of makes you think. But then on the other side of the game aspect of it, it's just like wacky. It really is. Like, there's a part where you're like skiing and I think shooting or being shot at, and there's like, you know, crazy water stuff going on, and then there's like this kind of a thing here. So at the beginning of the game, this is where I almost just stopped playing this game, because I was like, what is going on here? Not this part here, but coming up, where they just kind of like, they punish you. And it's just like, it sucks because it's a punishing way, but the way they do it really reinforces just how terrible things are for her, if that makes sense. Like, this really sucks. This is not necessarily the way that, like, I would say the level up system, the points are made up and nothing matters. It's like, whose line is it anyway?
Bring some water.
It's just to really reinforce a concept that you see later on in the game as it sort of goes on, is like, this is not a situation where a curious, I suppose you would say, young mind, or someone that really wanted something else, or really got like the short end of a straw, was sort of stuck in the situation where she doesn't feel as though she can really be creative, have creative outlets, be somebody that like she wanted to be, and she got sort of stuck through this with really, really bad luck. Like, it's really, really bad circumstances that got her into this situation. And it's not about necessarily getting out, but it's basically, it's a really interesting commentary, as I said, on religion and the sort of themes on it, and how it impacts or can impact someone's life if they were stuck in this sort of a situation. And it's just so neat to see how it all kind of gets revealed, because you really, you know, like, a lot of it is how one perceives the world around them. I'd almost like to just, like, straight up talk about, like, what actually happens in the games, because, like, thematically this is so fascinating. It's something like, it would be a movie that you would watch, and the movie, you would sit there and you'd kind of, like, it would be a bit niche, but it would be a film where you talk about it, you talk about the thematics of it, and you would just be like, that was a really good film. But for a game, it's a little bit weird, and that's why they've got such, like, outlandish gaming elements. See, like, you have to do this, is it 5 times? Like, it's brutal that you do this, because it's slow, and it's mundane, and it's boring. This is where I was kind of like, I wanted to just stop playing this. I was just like, what is the point of this? And then I actually, as it kind of kept building, I was sort of hooked, if that makes sense. Like, I really genuinely wanted to see what was going to happen and where things were going to go, because I find this to be such an intriguing title. So I'm hoping that maybe you'll give it a whirl and you'll see how cool things are, and you'll maybe take a look at it and, like, dive in and explore all its themes, and, like, you know, kind of go to the interview maybe and get some more context from the actress about it. And yeah, it's just, it really is such a neat game. And if I was to really talk more, I would spoil things, and I don't want you to be spoiled, because I think it's such a special experience. And it really is one that's got such charm and hilarity and great performance from the lead, and it's such a cool game, and it was really fun to kind of revisit it again and just kind of have an excuse to talk about it. So hopefully you give Indika a chance and a whirl, and you get through this boring part, and you'll see how wonderful the rest of it is, and have some thoughts and commentary on the whole thing.